We'll now speak to Amit Bara, who's a journalist who's covered Sri Lanka, joining us from New Delhi. Thanks for your time. So this is Mr. Modi's fifth visit to Colombo as Prime Minister. How is this visit different than the previous ones?
Well, I think firstly, there's a new government in power in Sri Lanka, and he's the first actually foreign leader who's gone to Colombo after Mr. Dissanayake became the president. I think one thing that stands out for me is, as your correspondent was mentioning from Colombo about the agreements, that there's an energy farm which India, Sri Lanka and the United Arab Emirates are going to develop together. I think this is, for me, for the first time that India has involved a third country when it comes to Sri Lanka. So far, it's all been bilateral dealings. So this is indeed a project which is worth watching, how it plays out. Right now, it's government to government, from what I understand, but it's going to get business to business, what kind of investments come in. And you would be aware that there's a massive refinery project that the Chinese have announced in the southern part of Sri Lanka. So I presume that this is something which India would like to pursue seriously. Also, defense cooperation. One of the things that was mentioned by Indian Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri in a briefing, a short while ago. Not only did the Sri Lankan president speak of India-Sri Lanka security ties, being interlinked, he also said that Sri Lanka would not allow its territory to be used either on land or in the ocean, which is significant because India has huge concerns about Chinese ships visiting, so-called research ships visiting the island of Sri Lanka.
Right.
So all in all, this seems it's pretty quick, what's happened in the last 4 months.
Okay, look, I mean, India does not have the best of relations with some of its neighbors. Tensions have escalated with Pakistan, for example. Relations with Dhaka have taken a hit since the leader there fled to New Delhi. So is the Prime Minister making a concerted push here to have stronger ties with Colombo?
Well, definitely. I think Sri Lanka stands out as one friend of India in a rather messy environment regionally. And it's good that he also reached out to the Bangladesh advisor, Muhammad Yunus, and met him in Thailand. But there's no doubt that India's relations in the neighborhood continues to be a very troubled one for India. And a friend like Sri Lanka is as important to India as Sri Lanka is to the whole South Asian region. Mm-hmm. And one would really pray that at some point the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation would splutter to life, but it doesn't seem to be happening anytime soon.
You were mentioning China just a moment ago, so let's just talk about China for a second, because it has been wooing Sri Lanka for years now. So where does this leave Sri Lanka's new leadership in that rivalry for influence between the two Asian giants?
Well, so far, I think the NPP government of President Dissanayake has played it very well. China and India, both big powers, powerful powers. And I think his first visit was to India and his second visit was to China. And it's absolutely in Sri Lanka's interest to keep both parties happy, get all the investment from both parties and, plow their own foreign policy approach. And this is not something new. This has been an issue for them for a long time. And over the decades, we've seen whenever Sri Lanka is in trouble, they've approached India and they've also approached China. So I feel that, this is a great opportunity in a sense for Sri Lanka. And this repositioning that has come about with the NPP government can only, be to Sri Lanka's benefit. And I think India should also understand that it cannot prevent the development of Chinese relations with Sri Lanka, while at the same time safeguarding its own security interests.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for your time and for speaking to us from New Delhi. Well,